Hola Unconventionals, I'm Amelia.
And I'm JP.
And we are both expats who work online from Cuenca, Ecuador.
Yes, we are. And because of that, we get a lot of questions about how to make money living abroad. So if finding a job isn't really realistic, what is? So now we're going to talk about how to make money living abroad. And the very first thing and the easiest thing to do, and what Amelia has done, is work remotely for your current employer.
Yes.
If it's an option. It's not an option for everyone, but it is an option for a lot more people that realize it. If you're an office worker and you do all of your work online, there's a good chance that your boss might go for, the reduced expenses of you not being in the office.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to ask.
It doesn't. Amelia worked about 20% of the time in the office before we left Denver and about 80% at home. So it was kind of easy for her to just say, I need to be 100% virtual. And they said, okay.
Right.
Thankfully.
Yes.
Very thankful for that.
Yes, we are very thankful.
Yeah. And everybody asks what Amelia does. So she manages the CRM systems and what
I manage
manufacturer
scheduling
visits.
And I manage incentives and things like that.
Sales stuff.
But it's all on more the operational side.
Yeah.
So I was able to do all of that remotely. I don't need to have the face-to-face interaction.
Yeah. And I also work online. I do web design, although I'm not really taking on new clients now as our vlog is taking off and it's taking so much of my time. I don't have time for new clients, but I still maintain all of my old client websites. And I get monthly recurring revenue. They pay me to manage their websites. They all have WordPress websites and I manage those, keep them updated and make updates for them each month. And that's how I earn my income. If the job that you have now doesn't lend itself to being a remote work, you can search for other jobs on a website called flexjobs.com. And they have all kinds of remote working and alternative working arrangement type jobs. So you can do things, for somebody else that is fine with you being 100% virtual. The next way to make money living abroad is with online gigs.
What do you mean by a gig? I feel like a gig is like a band performance at the bar.
It's the gig economy, dear.
Oh, okay.
So a gig is basically you're doing a freelance job. It's a finite period or project. You do it and you get paid for it and it's over. The key to gigs is really to convert that into recurring revenue though, because a lot of times the gigs don't pay very well in and of themselves.
I see.
So like web design is a gig, like building a website might be a gig. And that's what I do. I've been building websites for almost 25 years. And we used to make a lot of money doing it, but not so much anymore because of all the low cost labor from countries like India and Pakistan and Russia. It's really hard to compete with them.
Yeah. And the fact that you can build your own website if you wanted to.
Yeah, there are a lot of build your own sites too. So it's a tough business now. And the websites, you can't charge nearly what we used to. So the key in web design is to really get people on board for managed web hosting or social media management, recurring revenue stream.
I see.
So web design's a loss leader.
But you certainly can do the online gigs to make extra money.
Well, yeah, I'm going to get to the ones that are better options. Web design is not a great option for making money online these days.
Okay.
What a really good option is content writing. If you're a good writer, you can write content for websites. There's a website called constantcontent.com. And a few years ago, I wanted to test that out. I submitted a couple of business articles to them and somebody bought them for $80. And it took me about 4 hours to write them. So that was about $20 an hour that I earned on that.
Yeah, that's good. I've forgotten you'd done that.
Yeah, so there are other websites like that where you can submit content and people will buy it. And you can also find writing gigs on Fiverr.com. And I'll put links to all of these websites in the blog post, so go check that out. Also, international living. If you move abroad, international living pays $350 up to that amount for articles if they print your articles. So a lot of people submit articles to them and other websites like those about their experiences living abroad, and they make money that way. And social media manager is another type of job that you can do, and that's nice because it's usually a recurring revenue stream. And what you do basically is you manage business social media accounts. And if you're good on social media and you know how to get eyeballs on posts, this is probably a good option for you.
There's a lot of companies out there that are looking for
that need that
help.
Because it's time consuming and tedious work. And so they don't often have the time or the resources for it, or it might not be in their business, their strike zone.
Right.
So they outsource that to other people to manage for them. And basically you just post stuff to their social media feeds throughout the day. You find articles, memes, etc. And you can find jobs like that on Upwork.com, Upwork. I didn't say that very clearly. Freelancer.com is another one, and Fiverr.com also has jobs for that. A growing need is for video and podcast transcription and translation services. We get a lot of requests for transcriptions on our videos, both in English and in Spanish. Unfortunately, it's too expensive. You guys charge too much. It would cost us about $500 a month to do transcriptions in both English and Spanish. And we just can't afford that.
No, that's not in our budget right now.
But, but there are a lot of large channels and podcasts out there that do have enough money to cover that cost, and they really want to make sure they hit the market for hearing impaired and foreign language speakers. And it's also really helpful for SEO. It gets your videos discovered more and your podcasts if there's a transcription file associated with it, because it makes it easier to index for the search engines.
Cool. That sounds like that might be a fun job.
Yeah, so if you know how to type fast and accurately, that's a really good option.
Yeah.
There's a lot of need for that. And there's a website called rev.com, REV.com, where you can get gigs for doing transcriptions. And Fiverr.com also has transcription and translation jobs.
Wow, Fiverr's got lots.
They have everything. The next one is telemarketing and customer service. Because we have reliable internet, you can use voice over IP like on Magic Jack or Skype. And you can make telemarketing calls or customer service calls from pretty much anywhere in the world as long as you have a good internet connection.
Yes.
And a thick skin. Not something I would want to do, but we actually employed a telemarketer who lived in the Dominican Republic a few years ago to make cold calls for us to get web design leads. And they had lived in Costa Rica for 6 months, but they said it was too rainy for them. So they left.
Heard that from a lot of people.
Yeah, but they lived in Southern California, couldn't afford it. So he and his wife moved to the Dominican Republic, and they do telemarketing from there, and they make a decent living at it there.
Yeah, and you would have never known that they were in another country.
No, you wouldn't.
Never.
Nope, he advertised. I found him on Craigslist, and he just advertised in all the major metros saying that he does telemarketing. And I called him up. He's a good guy, and he was good on the phone.
Yeah.
So, that's an option. You can also teach English online. This is what a lot of our friends here in Cuenca do.
Yeah, we know several people that teach online.
They teach English to Chinese kids in the middle of the night. It actually is really early in the morning or late at night.
The hours are a little kooky, but that makes sense because, of course, they're halfway around the world.
Yeah, but that's a really good way. And there's a website called VIPkid.com, and we'll link that in the blog post. And that's what we've heard the best things about. There are several websites that do this, though. And you can make quite a bit, like between $14 and $22 per hour doing this.
Yeah, the salaries are definitely higher for that.
Yep.
You just have to be flexible with your time.
Yeah, you have to be willing to get up early or stay up late.
Right.
All right, so there are lots of other online gig type things that you can do. Just go check some of these websites like Fiverr.com, Freelancer, Upwork, etc. And you can peruse the types of jobs, and there might be something on there that you can do already you didn't even think about charging for.
That's a really good point. I mean, there's no way we could list
Go over
everything. And there's so much that we don't know. So we definitely want to hear from you all and let us know what your ideas are.
Yeah, if you do something different or have a different idea, put that in the comments and we'll add that to the blog post so that other people can think about it for themselves.